That's what it's for. Why was there a mailbox out here? There's a ranch. It's that simple. But as we're driving on this road, there's motion detectors alerting them that we're driving. And I saw a YouTube video when I first started. The guy covered his face because he knew what he was putting on there. He shouldn't. So this is a public road. He was driving on it. He's fine on that. But what he did, it was a metal detector. He unearthed every couple feet a motion detector. They said, property of the government, don't touch it. He was touching them and leaving them. So that video is not on YouTube anymore, and that guy probably went to prison. It could have been a federal offense for that. People do stuff, and then they get away with it, and then eventually it catches up with them. It says no drones at the end. If you do drone video, and people have, eventually I think that's just as bad as you crossing the gate. Now, guys, in October, almost November, I was driving in this area, and I've been doing this tour for about 9 years now. And as we drove up, we couldn't turn on this road. For a week, this was sectioned off. There was at least 50 to 60 combined military police and rangers out here, or not rangers, sheriffs. And they had cones at the end of this road, and they said, no, you can't turn on it today. You can't drive out here. What I came to, the information I got from it was, there was a crash out here of some kind of, locals called it a UAP or UFO. And I'm not saying it's alien, but it could have been, but it was something they didn't know what it was. They said they heard artillery. It was possibly shot down, but for a week, the government was out here picking up pieces of it and not letting anybody around it. That did not make news. It would not make local news. So you're only going to hear that possibly on a conspiracy thought site. But I was out here for that week. It happened. Now, a week later, I'm at the diner. And I look over, and sitting right there talking to Connie and Pat, the owners of the diner, was George Knapp. And George Knapp was interviewing them. And I'm very close to that family. They're always offering me to move there and do tours for them. I've known them for years. They are family to me. And Pat and Connie, and there was another tour guide, they only asked me, and I'm an idiot. I don't know why I said no. But they said, Clayton, do you want a picture with George Knapp? I should have said yes. I did not, but I got a photo of him, and I forgot to show it yesterday, but I can show you later if you want it. He was sitting there with Pat and Connie. And anyway, they were interviewing him, and I have not seen that interview yet come out. And we were there in the diner over an hour, and we were trying to be quiet. The interview was longer, but the little bit that I did hear, Connie was talking about the day before. Everybody local saw some kind of orb dancing around the sky. It didn't make any sense. But even if it wasn't an alien, guys, that is fact that this base exists, and it's still possibly under attack. Because they had to defend it. They might have shot something down here, and they were picking up the pieces. Now, back in June last year, at the second gate we go to after lunch, I was driving up to it, and there was a big oil fire over the mountains, higher than the mountains. And it was a black, dark cloud like gas or like, oil would do. So I went back to the diner, and what I was told was nobody saw what it was. But again, there was a UFO or UAP sighting, something they didn't know. And they did hear artillery. It was shot down, and it crashed over the mountain. And they said it had been burning for 24 hours. So again, that was another time in the last year that this base possibly was under attack or something crashed here.
I actually saw that on YouTube. There's
Yes.
a live stream.
Oh, I didn't see the crash, but I was out here. I saw the fire from it that day.
Yeah, I saw a fire.
Oh, I have to check that out, man. But if anybody tells you it's a dead base, that's 2 times in the last year this thing could have been under attack, and they had to defend it. And nobody knows what it was, so it could have been a UFO. Nobody knows. And this road is at least 10 miles long. They can see us coming. So you see this dust trail. We didn't have this yesterday. It rained a couple nights ago. That's why there's a little bit of water we're passing here too. It's usually dustier in this, but I had no dust yesterday. Now there is. They can see a car coming for miles. You can see a car coming for miles. You don't know what's in it, but they know something's coming. And you have the motion detectors. Plus, we're we're being watched. On top of that mountain is a lookout, and there's a telescope on it, and it's got a 360 view, and it can see you all the way in this valley. But up ahead, I'm sure there's all kinds of cameras out here. They've been here for years. I'm sure we're being watched on all levels right now. Now, you don't see anything when you drive up, but here's the thing, guys. I've never had anybody arrested on this tour, but I've had some idiot people dance around it and mess around. And when they start messing around, just like today, you don't see anything as you drive up. You never do. But I know better, so as they're messing around the gate, I'll start turning around and I'll start seeing cars come in. A lot of people that get arrested here get arrested at the end of the road. They surround them. So I had a tour years ago, and I'm not saying this to scare anybody, but every once in a while you got to change a tire. And I changed my tire here, and I got out to change it right where we're like about where we're at right now. And I don't know why they showed themselves to me, because they don't show people their face. They hide their face because they're not supposed to work here. So when you drive by them, they do this, and they have darkened windows. I've had them sitting on the side waiting for us to leave with cardboard in front of their face, for real, because you're not supposed to work here. So they don't usually show themselves to people. But that day, all of a sudden I was startled because there was a car behind me that said, "You need help?" And it was one of the guards. I said no, because I had a guy in my car that was a mechanic. I was changing, and I had Art behind me, so there's 3 people changing the tire. I should have said no, but I said no. I should have said yes. But when he left, guys, my question to myself was, where the hell did he come from? Because it was the middle of the summer. This is nothing. There's days when we're getting up dust trails where you have to turn your windshield wiper blades on. It's that dusty out here. And there was no dust trail from that car. There was no sound. He just was by us. In 30 minutes, there were 2 white Raptor trucks that came over too, and that's what they usually have, is white trucks. The first one was a black truck, which is the higher up guards. I don't know why they asked if I needed help, number one, but they asked me if I needed help, and I didn't see them coming or going. They just kind of came, they appeared. Now, they do have underground bunker stuff here, so it could have come from somewhere like that. But the other thing is, and Aaron's mom is military. She was asking about it.
My stepdad.
Yeah, stepdad, I mean. He has family military. I've had many military on tour. They always ask about cloaking devices, because they have them. So they could be sitting right there and you won't see them. So I don't know the technology, but I've had them come out of nowhere, guys. And there's no dust trail. There's no sound. I'm not saying this to rub it in. I'm hoping they do helicopters today, and I'm going to ask when we get out. And today might be a day, because they tend to show up on the days when it's only 1 tour, less than when there's like 2 or 3 out here. And out of like 1,000 tours I've done for this company for this tour, I've only seen it maybe 50 to 100 times. So it's rare when you do, but you always see it on this gate. And 3 tours ago, they went right over, right by our car, driving up. They get close. I've seen the gunner pointing and laughing at us. I've seen the pilot throw a peace sign at us. And they get close, but here's the thing. Usually you hear them coming. I've had them appear out of nowhere, and that helicopter was silent, because they have silent helicopters. You saw the helicopter before you heard it. So this base, again, is working mainly with not being seen. It works with stealth technology. It works with stuff that they don't want. It's all about that not being seen and heard. So I've had them come out of nowhere, and right now I guarantee they're around us. They just don't show them unless you do something. But when you do something, they're there. So the #1 video I've seen on YouTube and Instagram that is total rubbish is the videos where people are being chased by somebody here, and they get away, or they're, like being chased, and then they talk to them, and no. If you're being chased, you're being arrested, and if you're being chased, they're gonna catch you. There's no way you're getting away, period. And unless you're live streaming, they're not supposed to be online. They're not supposed to work here. They have every right to erase your video. So you wouldn't have a video to post. So a lot of those videos are BS. And here's the other thing about that, guys. Don't watch movies with me. I know what the difference is in these deserts. These Joshua trees right now that we're looking at are only in the Mojave Desert. There's this very small part of the Chihuahuan Desert in northern Mexico that has them. But 90-something% of these are only in the Mojave. They're not in the Great Basin. They're not in the Sonoran Desert. And we don't have the tall cactus that you see on TV, the cowboy cactus. We don't get that in this desert. So when I watch a video or a movie where they're supposed to be by Area 51 and the cowboy cactuses are there and there's no Joshua trees, they're not filming here. They're in a different state. And I see that sometimes. And it takes me out of the movie. So when it is a two-part movie about revenge where on their wedding day, the assassin tried to kill his wife and then she gets her revenge and he thinks she's dead, you know, and he's much older than her. They go to Asia. I'll give you little hints on it. I'll try not to ruin too many movies for you. But it takes place in a church in Texas, and there's Joshua trees. There's no Joshua trees in Texas. So I've been by that church, and it's outside of LA in the Mojave Desert. But I see that even on these videos sometimes. They're perpetrating. But I'm telling you, man, I've had them come out of nowhere, and I'm like, where the hell did they come from? So you're not getting away. When I first started, Obama was president. And the first year I did it, last year his presidency. And there was a difference, guys. You know how we just passed by some dirt roads? Those connect the different gates, and it connects for the rancher. But when I first started, and it changed that January when Trump took over the first time, and it went through Biden and everything, it's the same. Sometimes we pass by a guard leaving, and they'll go like 90 miles an hour, hiding their face. But usually the only guard we see is on a hill up ahead. But when Obama was president, there would be guards sitting on those roads, and we passed them. I think they're still there. I just don't think they show themselves now. And I don't know why they changed, but I think they're still there. I just don't think they show you. The guards, guys, you know, what I've heard about the guards this first wave, and if you're listening, I'm sorry if I get this wrong, but the first wave, I've heard they're not even military. They have military backing. They are fully invested by the government and the federal government, and they're on federal land, so they have different laws than off of federal land, so you don't have the same rights on that if you go on the base. So if they have to shoot you, they would. I don't think most of the time they do, but they have every right to, because they have to defend the base. But they're not even military, so that guard would know nothing. So I leave those guards alone. And I'm sure they're lovely family people. I'm sure they have families to support. I'm sure they're lovely people. But they're not paid to be lovely. They have a job to do. And the other thing about it, this is how I put it, a pit bull can be a lovely family dog, but you don't poke it with a stick. So when I go to these gates, I don't mess around with the guards because I'm sure they're lovely, but they're not paid to be, and I'm not messing with them. F around and find out. When you come here, you don't see anything, that's the point. But if you mess around, you'll see some stuff. But it may be to your detriment, and you may not love that choice. So I don't think I had that group today, but please don't mess around. I had two ladies that were full-on believers years ago. They wanted to be arrested because they thought you were getting taken on the base, and they wanted to see the aliens. Even if they have them, they're not showing you them, and they're not taking you on the base. So when they arrest you, they take you off. So I was trying to tell them not to do it, but they were dancing around the gate. Luckily, they didn't go too far. But they were asking me what I would do if they got arrested. I would drive back to Vegas without them. And, you know, and I would be sad, but I'm not getting a federal offense. And they go, would you get in trouble for your boss? No, you're an adult. I can warn you, but if you break the law, I don't have to go with you. You know, my boss wouldn't be happy, but she's not going to be mad at me, you know. If I took you to Alamo and you robbed it, I'm not driving you back. You broke the law. So, you know, I don't think I have that group today, but sometimes people think it's like Disneyland. I always trust that. You don't want to mess around. Most of the time you don't see anything here, but they are surrounding you. You just don't see them, and if you mess around, you're going to find out. And when we come here in a minute, you don't see them necessarily, but they're watching you. There's a camera in front. I've heard it goes all the way down the road. It's probably watching us as we're driving up. It sometimes follows us if we're together. There's listening devices here. Every once in a while, we'd be talking about something, and I'll ask the guard something, and he's on the hill up here, or she is, sorry if it's a she, and they should not be able to hear us, but they will honk their horn in response. You guys can try that, but they're not trained monkeys, doesn't mean they're going to do it. But I've had them respond by what we were talking about. So I know they can hear you and see you outside of the car. Inside, I kind of question if they're listening already. So guys, thank you guys for listening. Appreciate you. We'll get out and take some photos in a minute, but before you get out, just give me a minute just to go over a couple things because you might miss some things. And then you're totally fine to take photos anywhere we stop. You can take a photo in front of it and tell your family you're breaking the law, but you're not breaking the law. In fact, people camp right outside of this. So if you're listening right now, please let us go up that hill because there's a hill in a minute we can walk on. About a year ago, they started honking the horn and freaking my guests out. The hill is not anywhere near the line, but I don't know why they're honking the horn. But I don't go up that hill. Kirk just drove on it yesterday. So what we can walk up to in a minute, you can drive on. It's public road. I don't like parking there because if they leave, I don't like blocking them. So I'm actually trying to help them out. So if we go up there, please don't mess with my people, please, please, please.
Ask for helicopters.
Yeah, I'll ask in a minute. Yeah, definitely. If you got that, I'll get one of you out too. Bring some helicopters over or something. These guys are from UK and we got Finland. She's coming from a long ways away, and it'd be cool if we saw helicopters.
Or fighters.
We're the only people today, by the way, and I always try to defend you guys. So please, please, please. Okay, so a couple of things. You can go up this hill. You don't see anything different. If they start honking the horn and you come down, that's fine, but you're not. We're closer to the gate right now. Why didn't my car just go into park when I didn't put in park? Didn't put in park. You have to push that button for the park. That was weird. Anyway, so we're closer to the gate right now than up that hill. Now, if you go up that hill, be careful of the road because it's the rocks are loose. Sometimes people slip on it. But if we all go together too, sometimes this camera in front of us, you see the one that looks like Wally in the distance, like in front of us, or Johnny 5 is my reference point. That will actually follow us sometimes, and they have control of it. So it doesn't always move, but if we go together, it might track us actually and follow us. You don't see anything up there. You don't see the base. You just see the road turn. There is nowhere to see the base. Sometimes people perpetrate on that too. In the late 90s, early 2000s on this road, you could actually walk up a hill and see the base. But what happened is once people started posting that on YouTube, they moved the gate back. So this hill you can walk up. All you see is the road turn. There's a beautiful valley. It's nothing different than when we drove up. It just looks better. So we already saw all that. Please don't honk the horn. But to the left over here, I wouldn't mess with this hill at all. Every once in a while I have somebody that tries to climb on it. If you're like 10% on that hill, you're over their line. If you're up on that hill, you're definitely over the line and you're going to be arrested. And do you guys know what you see at the top of that hill? Another hill. Because they moved the gate back. So you do not see the base up there. So there's no reason to go up there. I wouldn't mess with this hill at all. If you see that razor wire, people get too close to it. It doesn't just cut you, it grabs you. And sometimes people get really close. And I forgot to say this yesterday. This stuff looks abandoned, guys. But look at that razor wire. I'll show you video. It snowed a month ago. It rained and poured multiple times the last couple months. It does rain and snow out here. So if that isn't replaced, it would not be shining like that. It would start rusting. So that is telling you right there, you got to look for stuff like that. It's not a dead base. They just make it look like it. But you guys see the way the razor wire stops to the left out the hill? You guys see on the left there? So the perimeter line doesn't. A lot of the perimeter line out here that you could still be arrested for, it doesn't even have anything physical. It's got orange markers. It goes 30 miles that way at an angle. So I wouldn't touch this hill at all because you're probably over the line if you are. The other one is in the distance. You guys see the mountain in front of us? It kind of melted since yesterday. There was more snow on it yesterday. But anyway, that's Bald Mountain. And if you see that structure there, it's a weather station. Because a month ago this was all snow, but it also has a lookout, and that has a 360 view of the valley everywhere we're at today. So when we're at the second gate, when we're at if we're able to do the dry lake bed or the Rachel, it has a view of us. So I know that's watching us. Oh, the other one is, Kirk's people, Michael, who works with us, they always lean on that yellow. So if you do, you're fine. Because I think they know the difference of somebody charging the gate and leaning on it. But do you guys see the white dotted line in front of the yellow gate? That's the actual perimeter line. Because that yellow gate was put in during Storm Area 51. This wasn't the main Storm Area 51 gate, but people still were in the area, so they put that up as more of a deterrent. So if you're touching it, you're technically over their perimeter. I try to stay on this side, but every tour I have somebody that comes close to it. You're fine if you do, don't freak out. But just try to stay on this white side. And that's it. If you guys want photos, let me know. Chase something over there, I could have stopped by it. Sorry, go ahead, just be careful. Just watch where you're walking. This is seasonal stuff. I got it in my yard right now. It's just weeds everywhere. That's what I'm wondering. Maybe this is too, because my yard was covered in them. Like we had a lot of rain, so a lot of stuff out here, it won't bloom forever, but when it rains, it's like, boosh, like this. And the thing is there's a lack of vegetation out here, but the stuff that's out here is strong. You know, so when you have seasonal grass, that's actually stronger than the stuff you guys would have. That allergy thing, bull crap. I wish you were correct. Shut up. It's like the heat thing. It's a lovely heat. No, it's not. What is it?